The Cry of Love is a posthumous compilation album by American rock musician Jimi Hendrix. It was released in 1971 by Track Records and featured songs he had been working on for an album before his death. All of the songs were written by Hendrix and include some of his last studio work. Its tracks were mixed and selected for the album by recording engineer Eddie Kramer and drummer Mitch Mitchell, who performed in Hendrix's band with bassist Billy Cox and percussionist Juma Sultan, among others. The Cry of Love was the first in a number of other posthumous releases that were released in the following years. When it was released in 1971, the album became a chart success in both the United Kingdom and the United States, eventually being certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America in 1998. Critics responded favorably to the album, viewing it as an impressive tribute to Hendrix. Several of the songs on The Cry of Love were later featured on other efforts to recreate the album Hendrix had been working on, including Voodoo Soup in 1995 and First Rays of the New Rising Sun in 1997. Recording and production, The Cry of Love featured songs Hendrix had been working on at the time of his death and was the first attempt at presenting his planned first studio recording since the breakup of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. The Cry of Love is composed mostly of songs which Hendrix recorded in 1970 at his New Electric Lady Studios in New York City with drummer Mitch Mitchell and bassist Billy Cox. About half of the album's 10 songs were nearly completed with mixes prepared by Hendrix. The balance were in varying stages of development and were mixed after his death. The album credits Hendrix as a producer, as well as longtime recording engineer Eddie Kramer and Mitchell, who prepared the final mixes and track selection, with input from manager Michael Jeffrey. 7 of the songs on The Cry of Love were later included on Voodoo Soup, the 1995 attempt by producer Alan Douglas to present Hendrix's planned album. In 1997, all were included on First Rays of the New Rising Sun, along with 7 other songs, in Kramer's most realized effort to complete Hendrix's last studio album. Release and reception: The Cry of Love was released by Track Records in March 1971. It charted at number 2 in the United Kingdom and number 3 in the United States, where it had sold 500,000 copies by April. In 1998, the Recording Industry Association of America certified the album platinum, which indicated sales of 1 million copies in the U.S. In a contemporary review for Rolling Stone, Lenny Kaye hailed The Cry of Love as the authentic posthumous Hendrix album, his last work, and a beautiful, poignant testimonial, a fitting coda to the career of a man who was clearly the finest electric guitarist to be produced by the 60s, bar none. Robert Christgau originally wrote in The Village Voice that the album is an excellent testament, and maybe Hendrix's best record behind Electric Ladyland because of its quality as a whole rather than its individual songs, finding it free-flowing, devoid of affectations, and warmer than the 3 Experience LPs. He was more enthusiastic about the songs in retrospect. It isn't just the flow these tracks work as individual compositions, from offhand rhapsodies like Angel, a Nightbird flying through primal riff songs like EZY Rider, and Astro Man to inspired goofs like My Friend, and Belly Button Window. What a testament! In the Encyclopedia of Popular Music, Colin Larkin later called The Cry of Love a fitting tribute to Hendrix, while Paul Evans wrote in the Rolling Stone album guide that it showed the master, playing with Cox and Mitchell, at his most confident. EZY Rider and Angel are the tough and tender faces of the genius at his most appealing. Dan Bner from the Sydney Morning Herald believed although all of its songs were compiled on the more comprehensive First Rays of the New Rising Sun, there is something satisfying about having this first posthumous Hendrix release as a distinct object that illuminates the brushstrokes of a genius. In 2014, VH1 deemed The Cry of Love the greatest posthumous classic rock record of all time. That same year, it was reissued in both CD and LP formats by Experience Hendrix. Track listing: all songs written and composed by Jimi Hendrix. Personnel. Charts. References. External links: The Cry of Love at Acclaimed Music, The Cry of Love at Discogs.